evening sets in Miami. But don't worry, we got something for you to watch. A little baseball here. Marlins Park, the Brewers, the Marlins. Welcome on in as the Fish last night taking on the Brewers. That would be a sign. Is it a good sign? Such indecision. We know the feeling. On an email and a Twitter Tuesday. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins yesterday showing signs of life. Offensively, signs of life. Against a team, the Brewers, that are battling for their postseason hopes, trying to keep them alive.
That's one of the things you try to do as a ball club in the position the Marlins are in. You try to do some things individually, and you try to put a hurt on maybe some of the clubs that are still in it.
Big innings have eluded the Marlins all season long. They finally got one yesterday.
Yeah, they did. It was nice to see in the fourth inning Justin Ruggiano got things started. And it was also nice to see Rob Brantley contribute. He's been back there, got a couple of hits in this game. He kept things alive. Donnie Murphy, who's been playing at third base. Murph came in, hit the ball well. That was a big hit, driving in a run, base hit into right field. And how about Ricky Nolasco contributing with a beautiful bunt, a safety squeeze, Brantley coming in to score. And then the big hits continued. Donovan Solano poked a base hit into the outfield. Jose Reyes, who's really settling in and feeling comfortable in that number 3 spot, he had a base hit as well. So, yeah, the big innings have been far and few between, or is it few and far between? Either way, it doesn't make any difference, but it was good to see yesterday.
See, now we have more indecision on the telecast already. Pitching matchup in this one. The Marlins are going with a 6-man rotation from here on out, and that puts Wade LeBlanc back in the rotation.
Yeah, they're going to see Sean Markham for the first time ever. He's never faced the Marlins before. Hurt a little bit earlier in the year, so 15 starts on the year for him. And LeBlanc in his 19 outings, 5 of those have been as a starter. He's thrown the ball really well. Look for the good changeup, and a quick worker is Wade LeBlanc.
And we will be looking for your emails and your tweets tonight on a Social Media Tuesday. What sites do you follow? We'll show you the sites that we follow. Allison Williams when we return. A-Dub.
Hey, Rich, the theme for Email Twitter Tuesday tonight are your favorite follows. We want to know who are the must-follows on Twitter for information or for entertainment. Tweet us your favorites and use the hashtag #FaveFollows. Here are some of my favorites when it comes to the world of entertainment and sports. A good one to always follow, especially for a good fan perspective, is Bleacher Report. Another one of my favorites, especially with the NFL right around the corner, PFT at Pro Football Talk. A couple of local guys that I think are really good for everything going on in South Florida. Follow Adam Cooperstein from NBC6. Also, Danny Cannell, always good perspective on college football and really anything sports related. And Boog Shambi, gotta love Boog, former voice of the Florida Marlins when they were the Florida Marlins. And if you want a little bit of inspiration, some good perspective, at Great Minds Quotes, at Great Quotes is a really good follow. And actually, that is one of Brian Peterson's favorite follows as well. I'll have a lot of the players' favorites throughout the game. For more faves, let's go up to Craig and Niner. I would include you in this, but you're left out when it comes to Twitter. I'm sorry.
What do you mean I'm left out? Why? Why am I left out?
You're not on Twitter.
What do you mean on Twitter? What does that mean to be on Twitter?
You have to have a Twitter account, which is very simple. It is free. And
doesn't cost money? It's free?
It's free. You could do it. Maybe we'll talk you into it. These are some of the people I like to follow. Certainly for the jobs that we do here, it's very helpful to follow guys like the beat reporters and Clark Spencer, Joe Capozzi, who know everything Marlins, Joe Frisaro, MLB.com, and Juan Rodriguez, the lead beat reporters for the local newspapers here in town, do a terrific job. I like Larry King, made a Marlins mention the other day. Talked how he loved the uniforms. Henry Winkler, the great actor. Mike Russo, terrific former writer down here, covers the NHL better than everybody. And John Heyman is an outstanding local guy who's on nationally, and he covers that for MLB Network as well. Baseball as good as just about anybody. Now, of that group, is there anybody you would follow?
Oh, I'd definitely follow Boog.
Boog?
I'd definitely follow Boog. That's he's my man.
All right. Anybody else on the list? The beat reporters?
No, it's probably just a one Twitter follower guy.
Boog.
Just Boog. That's it.
Okay.
That's probably why I'm not on Twitter.
Huh? That
right?
Wouldn't be that exciting if it was just. Now we all love Boog, but part of the.
Now, if you're on Twitter and you follow all those people, is your phone like blowing up all day long? Like,
in fact, could you throw it to break? I have to check my Twitter.
See, that would drive me crazy. I think.
Go ahead. Take it to break, Niner.
Next,
I got a Twitter
Marlins, Brewers.
Oh, my God, that's interesting.
Tonight, can the Marlins beat the Brew Crew once again? Win a series.
Take a look at this.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Game 2 of what is a 4-game series. You see the rolling windows are closed, the roof shut, AC's on, and Wade LeBlanc is ready to go pinch a penny. First pitch, fastball strike, says Mark Carlson. New umpiring crew in, even though this is the second game of the series. LeBlanc making his 6th start for the Fish. And Aoki sends it out to Ruggiano in left, who makes a running catch. Let's meet the Brewers, shall we? Milwaukee 4 under, trying to hang in there on the periphery of the wild card race. After Aoki, you get Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart, Jonathan Lucroy, Carlos Gomez, Jeff Bianchi, and Sean Markham. Yes, it is Bianchi, not Bianchi.
And there is Ron Renicky, who's done a nice job with this Milwaukee Brewer ball club. I like the job that Wade LeBlanc has done as a starter or a reliever, and I think his arm has been suited in both capacities.
Ricky Weeks, who was 1 for 4 yesterday. That's a foul tip. And LeBlanc out in front, 0-2. LeBlanc 28, Lake Charles, Louisiana. First pitched at Alabama. Padre draft pick. Marlins got him for John Baker. 0-2. And he just missed.
Pretty good pitch.
You could see the young catcher, Rob Brantley, react behind home plate. And that was a gorgeous pitch that should have been strike 3. We'll see how LeBlanc reacts. Weeks has popped. He's got 14 home runs, 28 doubles.
Yeah, we talked about this lineup last night, Rich. Weeks with 14, Braun 37, Ramirez 21, Hart 26, Gomez has 16. I guess that's why they lead the league in home runs.
Yeah, scoring runs hasn't been the challenge for the Brewers. Bullpen rotation at times has been. There's Braun waiting on deck, and we got Aramis Ramirez in the cleanup spot. One-two is fouled back.
Thing with Wade LeBlanc, his last start was on August 22nd. That was in Arizona. It was game 2 of that doubleheader. He's had 3 relief outings since that time. He went 7 innings in the start and then came back and worked out of the bullpen 3 different times.
He is living that line of, was it Nuke LaLoosh? Anything I can do to help the team. And he's done it. As Jeff Conine pointed out, he pitched well enough to be in that rotation solidly, not just as the number 5 guy in spring training, but the Marlins already had 5 starters signed up and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and Ozzie has appreciated the way LeBlanc has handled this whole situation professionally.
To right, Stanton, and it falls in front of him. Weeks with a big turn. A soft single to right.
Yeah, he has that big swing. He has home run pop. I think Giancarlo got fooled a little bit. Take a look at the defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Ruggiano, Fernandez, and Stanton. Murphy, Reyes, Solano, and El Caballo. And Rob Brantley making it 3 starts in a row behind the plate. Yeah, I think the first step of Stanton on that fly ball off the end of the bat by Weeks was back. And by the time he regrouped, he couldn't catch up to it.
So Weeks, who can steal a base, though LeBlanc has a great move to first. And he comes on the inside corner to Braun. Now the Brewers haven't seen a whole lot of LeBlanc. The Marlins as a team have never seen Markham, but there are individuals that have faced him. A couple hits for Braun and an RBI yesterday. And he takes down low. Braun is 3 for 4 with a double in a small sample size against LeBlanc. The 1-1.
Got a question for you, Rich, early on. This is my email or tweet to you. I figured I'd just ask you instead of emailing. Where right now does Braun fit in to the MVP race? Last year's MVP, where does he fit in this year in the MVP race?
I would put him third. I would put him behind Andrew McCutchen and Buster Posey. How about you?
I got him there. I think I might have Posey ahead of McCutchen right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with that. I'm all right with that.
I think you kind of follow the Giants and you see how, boy, he's been instrumental in so many of their wins, plus catching, too.
That one fouled out of play. Would you agree that Posey has a little more to work with around him than McCutchen does?
Yes. But as we've talked about, plays in a pitcher-friendly park.
That's the part that makes his offensive numbers. And McCutchen as well. I mean, Pittsburgh's not a hitter's haven.
How about this name? In a lot of other years, and this guy may get some votes, Chase Headley.
Yes.
I mean, his team's not going anywhere, but he has been tremendous.
Now, he may be playing in a more hitter-friendly park next year if they do move the fences in San Diego. There's been talk of the Padres adjusting, especially right center in that ballpark. Braun leads in total bases, RBIs, home runs. McCutchen in hits. Braun in slugging percentage. We had the statistic yesterday on Marlins Live. OPS plus, which is adjusted OPS, on base plus slugging, and it's adjusted for the park that you hit in, and that pushed McCutchen ahead of Braun. I think it pushed Posey ahead of Braun as well. Here's the 2-2.
Is OPS plus, is that like Allegra D? Difference between, regular Allegra and Allegra D.
Yeah, and it will not make you drowsy.
Notice how weak, since he's reached base, it's really slowed down the pace of LeBlanc, who generally has a quick pace.
No kidding. We've already gone from like 3 subjects during
We've gone from MVP to Allegra
in this AB. 3-2 coming. Braun hammers it. Left center field. Turning around. Hernandez. Gorkys looks up, and it's off the wall. Plays it well. Weeks around third. On his way home, and he's going to score. Boy, Ryan Braun hit that ball a ton. And it bangs in that deepest, darkest corner that's probably about 420 feet or so from home plate.
Let's just say when he's playing a home game at Miller Park, he has himself a 2-run homer.
Oh, that's what Miller Park, that's up and banging around up on the concourse. Here's ARAMIS Ramirez. And he swings and misses.
There are always tweets and emails about moving the fences. And, we've talked about it. I guess, if anything, I'd like to see it a little shorter instead of 12 feet, maybe 10 feet, maybe 8 feet in some areas in height. And just watching that ball of bronze, not that I wanted it to be a home run, but there is a way right where that yellow line goes up on that circular area out there by the home run sculpture. You could just take that, you could take it right about here and take it straight across. That would shorten things a little bit in center field, if in fact the ball club wants to do that.
Braun's at second, 1 out. Milwaukee has a 1-0 lead. LeBlanc's breaking ball, fly ball to right, sending Stanton back. Braun tags, Stanton sets. Braun's on his way to third, and he'll get there easily on a long fly ball out off the bat of ARAMIS Ramirez. And here comes Corey Hart. The initial offering off Twitter, our ceremonial first tweet of the night from Marlins Do It. Niner seems bitter about Twitter. Here's the first pitch to Hart, and it's outside.
I think he's fine with it. I think he has just expressed his unwillingness to get involved.
And a strike. A ball and a strike.
That last pitch is what you want to see Wade LeBlanc do every so often. A good fastball in to keep the right-handed hitters honest.
Braun's 90 feet away. There's 2 outs, and we're just underway. And Hart takes outside. Hart had a walk-off home run this weekend. Change up in the dirt. We told you yesterday the Brewers came into yesterday's game. The Marlins won it 7-3. Brewers had won 13 of 17 and brought themselves maybe not in the race, but just on the outside of the wild card race. So their loss yesterday to Miami obviously didn't help them. Hart hits a high fly ball deep to left and foul. That's where Bob the Shark was when he was running camera for Marlins Live. One of the highlights of Marlins Live today.
Bob the Shark gets there he is. He's doing well. That's an internship, I think. That's not camera 12. He hasn't moved on to camera 12 yet.
No, it takes a steady hand for camera 12. Corey Hart walks, and this has not been the best of innings. You think back to that pitch that LeBlanc threw to Ricky Weeks that showed up in the strike zone on Fox Tracks. Weeks ended up hitting the blooper. Stanton didn't read it well off the bat. That falls in, and then all of a sudden things have kind of snowballed from there. And here's Jonathan Lucroy.
And a pitcher like Wade LeBlanc, because he's not overpowering, relies on getting calls like that, pinpoint control. He has to work on the corners.
1-0 pitch, foul back to the screen. If you're not on Twitter and you want to join us tonight via email, you can do it this way. FoxSportsFlorida.com is the first place to go. FoxSportsFlorida.com. Then get to the Marlins page. There's a little Marlins logo. Click on that. Once you're at the Marlins page, click on Game Connect. Once you've done that, then click on Ask the Broadcast. Why they ask you to jump through 4 hoops, I'm not sure. But we're hopeful that you can.
I think they just want to make sure you're serious about your email.
There's no password needed. Just go to FoxSportsFlorida.com, Marlins page, Game Connect, Ask the Broadcasters. And then type to your heart's content. Here's the 1-1. That one not hit all that well out in the right center. Stanton is there and he makes the catch. Wade LeBlanc leaves a couple. When we get back, Bob the Shark will be reading the Marlins starting lineup. That's right, Bob. That's you. they'll do it against Sean Markham with this lineup. Gorkys Hernandez with a return engagement in the leadoff spot. Donovan Solano hits second. Jose Reyes hits third. Giancarlo Stanton in the cleanup spot. Carlos Lee will be at first base. Justin Ruggiano at left. Rob Brantley doing the catching. Donnie Murphy at third. And Wade LeBlanc hits ninth. There's a good look at Sean Markham.
30-year-old right-hander had some elbow problems early in the year, was on the disabled list. And believe it or not, this is his first career appearance against the Marlins. Not an overpowering guy. Fastball will be 86 to 88. Has a very good changeup out of Southwest Missouri State.
He looks like a gamer, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got that grimy cap.
If
two-day beard going.
If I were a Marlins hitter, I'll tell you who I would have gone to get a report on Sean Markham. I would have gone to John Buck, who caught him in Toronto. So certainly knows the ins and outs of this right-hander.
And he was successful in Toronto, involved in the trade that brought Brett Laurie from Milwaukee up to Toronto. That's worked out for Toronto. And it worked out for Milwaukee last year because Markham had an ERA of 3.5, won 13 games and 33 starts for a team that got to the National League Championship Series.
And you're right about Toronto the year before. In 2010, he was a 13-game winner.
Gorkys Hernandez up there with Solano and Reyes coming up. And Hernandez fouls it back. Gorky's in the leadoff spot. Z Lovas 90 tweets. Tommy, would you rather see Reyes in the leadoff spot, or do you like him batting third?
You know, right now, especially watching him over the last 30 or so games, 36 games, he's hit in the number 3 spot. Right now, I like him in the number 3 spot.
And Hernandez swings and misses. Markham gets a strikeout.
Check on the scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Not overpowering, but he's a little funky with the deception. Changes speeds really well. Certainly isn't going to touch 95 on the radar gun, but has success.
That whole changeup started at a very early age. Solano smacks one into center field. Gomez covers a lot of ground out there. And he makes the catch.
Save that point, Rich.
I will.
On the changeup as we take a look at the Brewers defensively, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Ron Gomez and Aoki in the outfield. Ramirez, Bianchi, Weeks, Corey Hart, Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate.
It takes some lingual gymnastics to say Bianchi, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you want to say Bianchi. Mm-hmm. Here is Reyes, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Markham, when he was a kid, as some parents will do, would not let him throw a curveball when he was 12, 13, 14 years old. And so he had to develop a changeup as his secondary pitch, pitching in Little League and youth leagues. And that became quite a weapon for him, and he is known for a terrific changeup.
One thought on Jose Reyes, too, just to complete that, the email that we had. Reyes had 340 on-base percentage pretty much in his career. And I think in a perfect world, if you had Bonifacio in the lineup playing either second base or in center field, he would be a good leadoff man, get somebody in between, and then Reyes, and all of a sudden now you have some nice speed at the top of the order.
1-2 pitch. There's that changeup, and it drops straight down, 75 miles an hour. Markham grew up in Missouri, Excelsior Springs, Missouri, went to Southwest Missouri State, and he was a reliever all through college. But the Blue Jays drafted him and projected him as a starter, and he thought he had strike 3 there. That pitch that apparently missed in.
Now, Rich, if you're in the Midwest, can you say Missouri?
Yes.
I mean, I say Missouri, you say Missouri, but I guess if you're in the Midwest, you can say he went to Southwest Missouri State.
Corey Hart flips it to first. And a 1-2-3 inning for Sean Markham in the first. Back into the emails and the tweets when we return. Candy is in high definition, and it's brought to you by H.H. Gray. Coventry Healthcare, second, 1-0. Milwaukee on top. Wade LeBlanc going to work on Carlos Gomez, Jeff Bianchi, and Sean Markham. And LeBlanc throws a strike. 0-1 to Gomez. Carlos Gomez had a nice year. He's had a career high in homers with 16. Always a guy that was a bundle of potential, toolsy type guy.
Plays with a bundle of energy as well.
With a flair.
Yeah, his career high in home runs prior to this year was 8. So he's doubled that.
He's still quite young. He's 26. Spent 3 years in Minnesota, originally a Met prospect. Pulls a ground ball to Murphy's side. And Donnie Murphy throws him out. And here comes Bianchi. Chevron ticket Wednesday, that would be, hey, tomorrow. Fill up with 8 gallons or more of Chevron with Techron gasoline. And you'll get a voucher for a 50% discount off tickets in select sections for any remaining Marlins Wednesday home game. Stop in at participating Chevron stations for full details. Here is Bianchi. This is his 3rd time up with the Brewers this year. Look out.
Put together the numbers that he's put together this year in AA and AAA, and you know, you get that opportunity to join the big club. 92 games in AA and AAA. He hit .325.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Tapper back to the mound. And LeBlanc tosses the first in time. Back into our emails and tweets. Alex the Terp has a... I should have used this when Corey Hart was up. Hart wears number 1 and is, what, about 6'6", 240 pounds. Alex the Terp says Corey Hart must be the biggest Major League player ever to wear the number 1.
That's a good observation, by the way. Our crack staff is fully extended on email, Twitter, Tuesday, so we're trying to find out about that. But that's a good question.
Markham pokes one into right field. That's a base hit. And so the Brewers pitcher a 2-out single, and that brings Nori Aoki up.
Got a tweet from JD. Wants to know what you and I think about Dan Uggla and his struggles being taken out of the lineup. I know he's not happy about it. We talked about it a little bit last night. I'm sure he's handling it as professionally as he can, but hitting just over 200, and not the productive Dan Uggla that's been the second baseman for the last 5 or 6 years.
And I think defensively it's been a struggle this year as well. And Uggla was such a big part of the Braves last year with his great second half.
I tell you, it had to be a tough decision for Freddie Gonzalez.
Without a doubt. Aoki gets into that one, drives it to right. It's deep, and it is gone. His 7th home run of the season. Norichika Aoki. In his first year, a rookie at 30 after 8 years in Japan for the Yakult Swallows. He had to slow down and get into a home run trot.
Look at that, a high fastball just clears the fence into the bullpen, into the Brewers bullpen. Aoki now with an 8-game hitting streak, too. They call him Nori.
That's what happens when you don't hit a lot of home runs. LeBlanc with an off-speed pitch for a strike to Weeks.
See, they don't do that to Ryan Braun when he hits one out.
Weeks lines it foul and out of play. The core of this team, except Prince Fielder, that went to the National League Championship Series, is still pretty much here. They did deal Greinke. Their pitching staff rotation might be a little younger next year for Ron Renicky. We told you Markham is a free agent. One-two from LeBlanc. Weeks pulls that one into the gap. Over for it is Ruggiano, and he makes the catch. The single by Sean Markham with 2 outs proves to be costly because Aoki homers and makes it 3-0.
For Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Milwaukee has jumped the Marlins 3-0 in the second. Let's check in with Allison Williams. A-Dub?
Hey, Rich, it is Email Twitter Tuesday, and in addition to the questions, we want to hear from you guys about who are your favorite follows on Twitter. Who are the must follows for information, news, that'll have you laughing. One of the favorites for Giancarlo Stanton is a funny one. It's funny tweets. It's @autocorrects, and he says that's the one that always has him laughing. I found, though, when I went around the clubhouse and talked to the guys about who were their favorite follows, it was always the ones that were most entertaining, and so I'll have a lot of the other ones throughout the show. But for Giancarlo Stanton, a favorite of his is @autocorrects, and we'll check in on other ones throughout the show. Tweet us your favorites and use that hashtag #FaveFollows. Guys?
Allison, do you have autocorrect on when you tweet?
Yes, and it has cost me a few times because the autocorrect does not always correct correctly, I have noticed. So you have to be very careful before you send out those tweets. I've gotten busted a few times.
Autocorrect has a mind of its own.
Yes, it does.
Giancarlo Stanton against Sean Markham. Counts 0-1. Stanton in really a funk right now that has lasted about a week. And he lifts a pop-up, foul, and out of play. In his last 18 at-bats, he has struck out 11 times. And still, he's hitting at .284 with 27 doubles, 29 home runs.
There are some mechanical adjustments that he's been working on. And some of it, to this point, gets to be mental. You know, he hit some balls that were home runs, a lot of home runs on that road trip. And I think his thinking changed a little bit when he returned home here, but most of those balls would have been home runs here, too.
B and Stanton, one of the more loyal emailers and tweeters, wants to know, Rich and Tommy, a good reason to watch the last 8 innings of this Marlins game would be. There's the 1-2. It's outside. You never know if the guy at the plate is going to run into one.
You never know if he's going to run into one, because you and I both have the same feeling that tonight, you know, he may bust out a little bit.
See if Markham throws him that changeup. Nope, fastball. Stan hits it to center field. Gomez has plenty of room.
Getting close, though.
That's progress for Stanton as he sends it to center. Our legal department reminds us that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority. The Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
And Rich, I think another reason you should follow, or why you should follow the next 8 innings, you should be loyal to being Rich. You may have a chuckle, you may learn a couple of things, and you may find some interesting Twitter sites as well.
And one of the themes tonight is, which sites do you follow? Plus, it's an email and Twitter Tuesday, and we just read your tweet, so that's, I mean, that's not bad for the second inning.
We should have saved that one for the 7th, though.
He may have been long gone. Rockstar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 suggests that you and I should race with the sea creatures to boost morale for viewers.
I'm a couple of weeks from game ready, so it's.
Kevin wants to know, Tommy, since you've been in Miami, which Marlin has been your favorite to be around?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I saw that one earlier.
And your favorite to watch? 2-2 to Carlos Lee. And he takes outside.
I always enjoyed, and we saw part of that combination today, watching Alex Gonzalez and Luis Castillo play the infield. And as far as players, I'd start naming guys, and I know I'd forget guys. You know, certain ones I enjoyed seeing Mark Kotze come up. Loved following his career after he left here. Juan Pierre's always been one of my favorites.
Carlos Lee takes in a 1-out walk from Sean Markham. And here comes Justin Ruggiano.
Ruggiano keeping it over that 320 mark. Continues to hit the ball well, make plays in the outfield.
It's a good question from Dave in Coral Springs. Fine place to live. Really enjoyed your interaction with the crack staff on Sunday. Question: with Japan winning the Little League World Series, was wondering if any of the Japanese players in Major League Baseball have ever played for Japan in the Little League World Series. We hear about some Major League players.
Good question.
That is a very good question. And that's why we have a crack staff. Tom in Palm Beach. When does Logan Morrison come back? Was today the day he had surgery? Or is that tomorrow?
It's the 5th. He's having surgery tomorrow.
Spring training.
He should be good to go and ready to go full bore in spring training.
Ruggiano swings and misses, and the count's 2-2. Markham with off-speed stuff. Markham has had a few surgeries. He had Tommy John and Tommy Hutton surgery. Tommy John surgery on his elbow. Here's the 2-2.
You know what I'm thinking?
And he had a meniscus repaired in his knee. That's the Tommy Hutton surgery.
You know what I'm thinking of when you mentioned the Tommy John surgery? Here's a guy, and this is why you get into the whole Steven Strasburg conversation. No one knows. You just don't know. Here's a guy who, as a kid, his parents wouldn't let him throw curveballs. Change-ups and fastballs, still had Tommy John.
And was on the disabled list for 2.5 months this year with tightness in his elbow.
You know, even Tommy John himself, you can't compare the surgery on him. First of all, it was the first time it had ever been done. And secondly, Tommy John's was a totally different type pitcher than a Steven Strasburg is.
That's a very good point.
But the team that's looking really good with their Tommy John recovery is Atlanta, with Chris Medlin, the way he's been pitching.
National League Pitcher of the Month. Now, they brought Medlin back through the bullpen, not by design or let's give him a soft landing because of the Tommy John surgery. That's just kind of where they had him slotted. And then once he joined the rotation, he burst into flames. There's a liner foul off the bat of Rob Brantley.
Yeah, I heard him interviewed the other day, and he was talking about how Bobby Cox knew him a little bit better than Freddie did. And that was one of the reasons, because Freddie wanted to see how he pitched, how he'd fit in. But boy, oh boy, he tossed his second complete game of the year last night against the Rockies. Had 12 strikeouts and no walks, so no pitch limit. He threw 111 pitches.
Brantley with the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Carlos Lee's at first. Milwaukee's off to a 3-0 start on this Tuesday here in Miami. Markham misses up. Brantley's had some impressive at-bats of late, especially against left-handed pitching. Doubled off of Manny Parra in yesterday's ball game, part of a 2-for-4 ball game. Josh Edgin, a lefty that came out of the Mets bullpen on Sunday. Brantley also had a hit against him. So that bodes well for a young player that Miami's getting their first look at.
I think you and I have commented to each other that each night he gets back there and catches. He just continues to learn the pitchers, learn how to call a game, learn the hitters. It's one thing to learn your pitching staff. It's the other thing to learn the hitters in the league, how they adjust, where they stand in the batter's box.
Brantley lines it into center field, a base hit. The more you see him, the more you like him.
Put a good at bat on right there against a quality pitcher, a veteran guy, and Sean Markham. out over the plate. They wanted that pitch away a little bit more. You saw the target of LUCROY. And that's a solid swing. That's a beauty.
Donnie Murphy now, runners first and second. Miami trying to get on the board here in the bottom of the second.
If they're back watching in Temecula, California, his parents are saying that's a nice swing. We've seen that before.
Markham misses in to Murphy. Wade LeBlanc is on deck, and LeBlanc is a good hitting pitcher. Two and 0.
One thing, Rich, these two pitchers are allowing us to get lots of tweets and emails discussed.
Murphy lines it into left field. El Caballo around third, and here he comes. Braun loads up. His throw is way wide, and Carlos Lee scores. Donnie Murphy delivers a 2-out hit. The bottom of the order coming through for the first run of the night for Miami.
Sometimes when that outfielder knows that the runner trying to score has exceptional speed, they try to overthrow it. So Braun saying El Caballo takes the turn. I'm trying to overthrow it, and he did. Good jump, though. We've seen Carlos Lee do all the little things that a runner needs to do. Got a good walking lead, got a good jump, and challenged Ryan Braun's arm.
Wade LeBlanc now. Yeah, El Caballo has had, and maybe it's just me, but on this homestand, he's had more adventures on the base paths than usual. Check swing, that's a swing.
He's played some good first base on this homestand.
That's right. He was right in the middle of that odd play yesterday at first base when he avoided a tag but then missed the base. Corey Hart stepped on the bag as he was trying to tag him out. Here's the 0-1. A swing and a miss. That was the play in which Paul Emmel originally ruled that the run counted, as that was the third out, and the umpiring crew got together and it was determined that Lee never got to first base. Thus, since he hadn't reached first base, that in essence was a force out and it didn't count. Swing and a miss. 29 pitches for Markham. Miami gets to him for a run. For great deals on Toyota vehicles by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T Rethink Possible. And by Papa John's right now at Papa John's. Get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. We'll check in with Craig Minervini. It's 3-1 Brewers.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. Talking to Jose Reyes about the season, I asked him what he's most happy about. He said, well, you know what? Number one, I'm most happy to be in the field every day, injury-free for the first time in a while. You look at the numbers for Jose. Last few years for Reyes, just a little over 80%. A couple of years ago, only in the field less than 80% of the games the teams play. This year, almost 100%, 133 of 135, now make it 134 of 136 this season. And he said, that's a big deal for me. I haven't played over 150 really in 4 seasons. So his average hasn't been high all year, but his energy's been great. His defense has been terrific. His attitude, and certainly having him out night to night has been fun to watch.
Yeah, and the energy that he brings, Ozzie Guillen certainly appreciates that. As Braun leads it off, Aramis, Ramirez, and Corey Hart. LeBlanc, an 0-2 changeup that's down low.
And I know that was one of the concerns when the Marlins signed Jose Reyes to a long-term deal, was health. Was he going to be able to keep himself on the field?
Pop-up, shallow center. And Solano is there, and he makes the catch. We've had this question a few times, especially with the Braves series coming up. BG wants to know if the Marlins are planning on doing anything special for Chipper Jones in his last series in Miami. And we asked, and the answer is yes. Though we're not sure which game and what it will be. Obviously, what it will be a surprise. We'll try to find out which game that might occur in as well.
Well, on the next homestand, which will feature a weekend series against Cincinnati, a team that is headed to the playoffs. And then after that weekend series, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 17th, 18th, and 19th, the Braves are here.
LeBlanc with a nice changeup. Aramis Ramirez swings through it, and it's 1-2. That's a foul tip off the bat, or did it hit his hand? He's out because Brantley caught it. Ramirez says it hit his hand. But Mark Carlson, the home plate umpire, said, look, I heard it, and it sounded like bat. I mean, the umpire's going on sound at that point.
That's what he's going on. And it's really a tough call for him to get any help from any of the other umpires because he's right on top of it. He has a much better look and a much better chance to hear it.
Let's look on Foxmo and see what we can see. Well, it looked like it was a lot higher than his hands. Here's a look and a listen.
If it hit anything, it looked like it may have clipped the helmet. Angel Hernandez is coming in to try to help out, but he's all the way out at first base. And now you bring the whole crew in.
That's higher than his hand. If we could freeze that.
He's flipping his hand as if it hit the hand, but
did it look like
it looked like the ball was a lot higher than that?
It looked like the path of the ball was higher than his hands. If there's any way to freeze that side swing look.
And then it's a good job by Rob Brantley to hang on, to catch it. Above the hand.
It's above the hand.
It's above the hand. To me, it either hit the bat or the helmet.
Yeah, the ball's above the hand. I don't see how any of the other umpires could bail him out of this. Ramirez is trying to definitely salvage the at-bat.
Yep, and even Angel Hernandez comes in and said, sorry, Ramos. You overruled.
Which is tough because he's trying to get out of the way, but he didn't get his bat down.
You've seen guys do that, try to get out of the way, fall down, and actually hit the bat, and the ball trickles fair.
See, that's what
definitely hit something.
And that's what an umpire has to go on.
Yeah.
where was the ball in relation to the hands and the sound? He had kind of had that look on his face like he was fessing up.
Yeah, he's not really looking at his hand in the dugout.
Here's Corey Hart. And a changeup from LeBlanc is a strike.
Yeah, he's not concerned.
He gave it a good shot.
Gave it a shot. That's all he can do. You know, and for the next 7-8 innings, that's all we can do, Rich. Give it a shot.
That's why we're here. 3-1 Milwaukee. Media Tuesday. Email Twitter Tuesday. If you want to email, go to foxsportsflorida.com, go to the Marlins page, click on Game Connect, say hi to Little G and Little Jose, and then ask the broadcast, or on Twitter at FS Marlins. Some occupants of the pool, Tommy Hutton, out there at the Clevelander. Flotation devices. Yesterday was a good day out there in the Clevelander for that. There were fans jumping in. A lot of fans were sitting at the side of the pool, had their feet in the pool. 3-1 ball game. Brewers on top. Marlins Park will host a family Sunday on the 16th of September. And the Marlins and the Reds go at it at 1:10. Arrive early for a snapshot Sunday. Kids get an Emilio Bonifacio jersey. Wallet. It's a Bonifacio jersey wallet, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida, and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. Go to Marlins.com for tickets. Bonifacio still resting that sprained knee. Marlins have not announced a timetable for his return. Donovan Solano is up right now. As a result of that, Donovan Solano getting playing time every day. Not that he wasn't playing a lot before Bonifacio went down with the knee injury. Smacks it to right field. Aoki is there and he makes the catch. Let's check in with Allison Williams. A-Dub.
All right, Rich, well, you guys saw Lil Jose being involved in our email Twitter Tuesday. Very active on Twitter. He also has some of his favorites to follow on Twitter. One of his faves, Old Ras Hadhorn, who was a player in the late 1900s. Also, Heads Up Juice, who is Hugo, our barber here for the Marlins, who tweeted earlier about JJ getting his haircut. Also, Shake Shack, just like Geff, big fan of Shake Shack. And Funyuns Bag, I'm not sure what that's all about. Also, Low Vista official has to support Bonifacio there, and keeping it in the Lil Love category, a fan of Lil Wayne as well. So there's some of the favorites for Lil Jose on Twitter, guys.
Well, Jose has built a following of his own, outpacing all of us. Jose Reyes fouls it off. Reyes bounced to first.
I honestly think if Jeff Conine got a Twitter handle, he would follow Lil Jose.
Pop-up foul and out of play. Rich in Coral Springs. Tommy, do you think having the cameras around for the franchise was a distraction for the players? Would they have played better if the cameras weren't there and Showtime was not around for the first, 4 months, 5 months of the season?
You know what? First of all, we love the guys involved and gals with the Showtime production. They were great. A little distraction, maybe, but I don't think it affected how anybody played.
Jose Reyes bounces out. Sean Markham, an 8-pitch inning. Homer to Nori Aoki in the second, and an RBI double to Ryan Braun in the first. Jonathan Lucroy takes outside. AT&T trivia question. As we flip the phone, only 3 active pitchers have at least 10 career home runs. All 3 are in the park tonight. Ooh. Name them. Well, you got to go with Livan Hernandez. He's in the park.
You got to go with the leader, Carlos Zambrano. I guess it's that third one we'll have trouble getting.
All right, it's got to be a guy, obviously, that was either is a starting pitcher or was a starting pitcher in his career.
Or, I mean, you could really stretch things and say, is it a scout or a coach?
Ooh. Don't think it's Rick Kranitz. Oh, it's active pitchers. So.
Active pitchers. Yeah, okay. See, once again, I did not read the question.
Lucroy gets jammed and muscles it out to center field. Gorkys Hernandez there to make the catch.
Good job ever since the home run by Aoki. Wade LeBlanc's retired 5 in a row. He's worked that fastball in and out, some good change-ups. I think the club is looking, hoping to get about 100 pitches from LeBlanc tonight.
Well, Sean Markham has a grand slam in his career, but I think that's his only home run.
He was in the American League too. You know who's a good hitter for the Brewers? Let's see here. He has 1 home run this year. Is Giovanni Gallardo.
High pop up. Ah, Tommy got it. Way to go. Giovanni Gallardo is the answer.
Okay.
Jose Reyes makes the catch.
I did not know he had 10, but he has 1 this year.
It's impressive. Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the National League wild card. Atlanta and St. Louis. St. Louis being the number 2 team in the wild card. Dodgers a halfback. Pirates 2.5 back. And you see Arizona at 7.5 back.
But the Dodgers have had a couple of they've had back-to-back walk-off wins.
It hasn't done them much good in the standings, though. The Dodgers have won 3 straight, and the Giants have won 3 straight. It's helped them in the wild card standings. But the Dodgers remain 4.5 back in the West. Arizona 11.5 back. Atlanta 6.5 back in the East. St. Louis 8.5 behind Cincinnati in the Central. Bianchi to Reyes, who throws him out. 1-2-3 inning for LeBlanc in the 4th. Of Florida, lighting the way to better health by the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. And by Resident Evil Retribution in 3D in theaters September 14th. 3-1 ball game. Brewers on top. Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee, Justin Ruggiano. Miami trying to do some damage against Sean Markham, who has kept them off balance with that nice changeup, spotting the fastball, and mixing in a breaking ball like that. Stanton, a fly ball out to fairly deep center field. Drives that one to center field. That's deep. Gomez back at the track. Wall gone! Welcome back, Giancarlo.
That's why you hang around and watch these games, to see Giancarlo do just that.
30th of the season.
The other thing, Rich, I like his approach. He stayed back and has thought about going to center field. I mean, he's strong enough, doesn't matter. And both the balls he's hit, the fly ball and the home run, have been to center field.
That's got to feel good. You could see it coming yesterday. Remember, he had that 11 pitch at bat where he fought off a lot of good pitches. Here's Lee now. in a one-run game.
Out over the plate. It was up a little bit. He didn't pull off that pitch. Last couple of days he's been pulling off that pitch just a little. The Marlins also with that home run. That's their first home run on this homestand.
Wow. That's amazing. Especially coming off a road trip in which Miami channeled their inner bombers and loaded up in Colorado, Arizona, and at Dodger Stadium. Lee pops this one first base side. Corey Hart is there and makes the catch. We had a trivia question earlier that little by little we were able to get to, and it had to do with slugging pitchers. 3 active pitchers have at least 10 career home runs. All 3 are in the park tonight. Can you name them? Carlos Zambrano 24, and Livan Hernandez and Giovanni Gallardo with 10 each.
I was looking at a list, and on that list with 9 just out of that top 3, remember Micah Owings. Micah Owings had 9.
.436 feet is the home run by Giancarlo Stanton. High pop-up brings Ramirez onto the infield grass, and he makes the catch. Park Chops wants to know, what was Tommy Hutton's big contract year?
Oh, my.
Here's one, though. KDTK says, sorry I'm late to the telecast. Did you fully get an explanation for the play at first from yesterday? Yes, we did. And we actually were spot on at the end of the telecast and during the entire play and the discussion between umpires and managers. We were on it as well. And when we get back, we'll explain.
We'll explain our nice visit we had to the booth as well.
That's right. Giancarlo Stanton, dead center. And now it's a one-run game. Bottom of the 4th with a solo homer, and it's 3-2. Brewers on top. Subway 5th. Wade LeBlanc has settled down a bit. Here's Sean Markham. And Markham takes a strike.
Complete your thought, Rich, that you had on that play yesterday that we were talking about.
Here's the 0-1. That one popped up. Rob Brantley, Donnie Murphy calls for it and makes the catch. But contractually, Tommy, I have to say this. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight. Rob Brantley, in his last 6 games, has been really swinging it. And Brantley has another hit in this ball game. Really on-base percentage. He has given Miami the edge. Keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Steve Ripley, whom Craig talked to yesterday in the thick of it, had a chance to go down and chat with the umpires. And then he went back and watched the telecast because he wanted to see how it unfolded, and he listened to the commentary, had some very kind words when he came into the booth and said that there was confusion amongst the umpires, but he thought that we handled it, gave all the options and all the scenarios, and were pretty much on it by the time the umpires came to an agreement.
Yeah, and really at that point, that's all we could do was try to lay out what we thought could have happened. Turned out we were pretty much on the money. That's nice to hear.
But the fun part is, anytime you get a guy like Steve Ripley, or occasionally we'll go down to the umpire's locker room and visit with umpires, you have other questions to ask him, and we had some other questions about that play, sort of what ifs. One of the questions that arose is, if a guy like Lee slides into first, tags the bag, and then slides off of it, is he out if he's tagged out? And the rule is, since you can overrun the bag, you can overslide the bag. So if you slide into
first base is the only bag you can overrun.
Yes, and it's the only bag you can overslide and still be safe. 3-2 pitch. Popped foul and out of play. So we passed the umpire supervisor test.
And the other thing I was encouraged with, and here's that play with El Caballo going up the line, trying to dive back. I was encouraged with what Steve Ripley said, and we were all in agreement that on a play like that, the home plate umpire or the crew chief should take 30 seconds, make a quick phone call up to the scorer's booth, the official scorer, or maybe a media relations director, to let them know the decision so everyone up here knows.
Mark Carlson is behind home plate tonight. Remember, it was a different crew who was in game 1. You don't often see umpiring crews change in the middle of series. But because of the holiday yesterday, Carlos Lee has it. LeBlanc gets there just in time. Nice play by Lee and Wade LeBlanc.
That took some really good timing, and it took quickness on the part of LeBlanc. Aoki gets up that line quickly. He kind of has that swing where he's coming out of the batter's box at the same time. So the feed by Carlos Lee just in time for LeBlanc.
Brett is surprised that JJ isn't on the home run list. He thought he was one of the more powerful hitting pitchers. JJ had a year where he hit 3 home runs, but that was kind of his peak year.
I think he has 3 in his career, and I think they were all that 1 year. JJ got the short haircut, looking clean.
Weeks now. LeBlanc misses up, and so does Brantley.
The other note on Giancarlo's home run, it was career home run number 86. That ties him with Jimmy Fox for 8th place on the all-time list of home runs before the age of 23. So it's a pretty good list. Johnny Bench and Ken Griffey Jr. with 87. They're tied for 6th on that list.
So he's got a chance to pass some real big names. Speaking of Stanton, Brian sends this in. He just pitched a slider to his Giancarlo Stanton bobblehead, and it took him a yard.
I hope it was the tape measure shot, too.
2-1 pitch to Weeks. And at the knees for a strike. 3-2 ball game. Brewers got off to a 3-0 start. Miami single runs in the second and the fourth. LeBlanc here in the fifth is 78 pitches into this thing. He misses away with a fastball. Tomorrow night is a Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota showdown. Complete with sound effects. It's a shootout. Yes, it is. Liner into right field. Stand is there, and he makes the catch. Peralta and Eovaldi in that shootout tomorrow night. Check in with Allison Williams.
Rich, we've been asking people to tell us who are some of their favorite follows on Twitter, and Patrick wrote in and said that Mars Curiosity, the Curiosity rover that NASA just sent to Mars, is one of his favorites, and it just so happens he has something in common with the Marlins' Ryan Webb. That's one of his favorites as well. It sends pictures of Mars to Twitter, and for people to follow, it actually has like 1.1 million followers, so that is very popular, not just for Patrick and Webby, but 1 million people as well. Steve Cishek is a big Turtle Man fan, so one of his favorites is Turtle Yaya. He's, of course, the Turtle Man. If you haven't seen him from Call of the Wild Man on Animal Planet, he's pretty funny. Cishek actually got a phone call from him in spring training, and it made his year. Another one of his favorites is the new one, @Cryan_Wabi. If you haven't heard about this, it's kind of funny. It's a parody account making fun of Ryan Webb. The guys say that Webby complains a lot, and apparently somebody, I'm not naming names, I'm not saying who, has created this account venting and complaining and kind of mimicking Ryan Webb. Webby not happy about this, guys, at all.
That's pretty good. Donnie Murphy in the left field with a base hit. So a little teammate sarcasm going at him there. That's using Twitter to your advantage.
And by the way, Donnie Murphy using his bat to his advantage tonight. An RBI single in the second inning. Hit that ball well. His second hit, he's 2 for 2 tonight.
And here is Wade LeBlanc. We had a question earlier about Japanese Major League players that have played in the Little League World Series for Japan. And we put our best guy on it, Aaron Charlton, back in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we were just with Aaron at Dodger Stadium.
Headquarters of Stats. And he's not having much success. He's looked at a lot of sources, has found 0 Japanese-born big leaguers that have ever played in the Little League World Series. 1 Taiwanese-born player, Chin Feng Chen, played in both the Little League World Series and Major League Baseball. But Aaron has come up empty on that. LeBlanc drops down a bunt. Markham takes a look at second, flips it on over to first. Murphy now resides at second. On to the top of the order, Gorkys Hernandez and Donovan Solano. Last month here, the inaugural season of Marlins Park. If you're looking for first-class hospitality for your clients or hoping to catch a ball in the home run porch, experience Marlins baseball through a variety of affordable group packages. Marlins Park features air-conditioned comfort, great food options, and premium group entertainment. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call. Hernandez has struck out and flied out. We've got pretty good speed with Murphy at second. Good breaking ball from Markham.
I like to check in on at Glenn Geffner, or every once in a while at Joe Cap Marlins. Joe Capozzi, Palm Beach Post, giving us the number on the 86 home runs by Giancarlo.
Geff needs to give serious consideration to becoming a food critic, because whenever we have a restaurant question, in any city, Geff is the go-to guy. There's Geff from Marlins broadcasters. Marlins Park, Clevelander, Ken Rosenthal. There's Geff's, and of course Tommy Bahama. On Geff's list, I think Shake Shack would probably be at the top. 2-1 pitch, Hernandez swings and misses.
And by the way, Geff telling us that the home run by Giancarlo, the 17th 30 home run season by a Marlin. Of course, Dan Uggla leads the list with 4 times hitting 30 or more. Miguel Cabrera 3 times, and Giancarlo now twice.
Hernandez drives that ball left center field and hits it deep. That ball is gone! Top of the wall and gone! And Gorkys Hernandez, first home run. And Miami takes the lead.
And for Gorkys Hernandez, his first career home run, and he made it a big one. I mean, that's in the deepest part of this ballpark in left center. And not only was it a big one, it puts his ball club ahead. So Gorky's getting a chance to play and showing a little offense right there. Had the ball stayed in the ballpark, it would have been fun watching him run too.
4-3, and here is Solano. That's the ball, and I'm sure he'll hold on to it. A Clevelander employee. Get that to the bartender. That's Gorkys Hernandez' first major league home run. That's a ball that he wants. Now he's close enough that as Gorkys runs out there next half inning, he might be able to work out a deal.
Could just toss it to him. He could toss it to somebody at the bullpen too.
To center, Solano sending Gomez back. Makes the catch. So that definitely qualifies as a Clevelander home run. I mean, if the guy from the Clevelanders got it. Here's a look. Watch it at the very top of the wall. And then down the stairs it went. Reyes now, who's 0 for 2. Markham misses low and inside with a breaking ball. A pair of home runs. Giancarlo Stanton, you expected. Gorky Hernandez. Now that's a surprise. Count is 1-2. Hernandez in his minor league career, coming into this year, 24 home runs. His best seasons 06 and 08. He had 5 in each year. Reyes cracks that one into left center field. Gomez, full flight, makes the catch and runs it down. But Miami takes the lead. An unlikely source. Gorky Hernandez, his first career home run, and it's 4-3 Fish. The sixth. Joe and Cookie joined us now. Hi, guys.
Hi, Tommy. Richie, how you guys doing?
Hey, Joe. Hey, Cookie.
Here we are.
I got a question for Cookie.
Yes, sir.
We've gotten a chance, and there are a lot of guys, I think, playing, getting an opportunity who are in a little bit of an audition for next year. What have you seen, and what have you liked, and what do you see needs improvement in Gorky Hernandez?
Well, I think number one, he's got that speed that is very important for where he's playing in center field. He's got a great arm and ability to steal a lot of bases. I don't know whether he can hit for average in the big league yet. I haven't seen him that much. Just a few games here. And I believe he has to utilize the whole field, hit the ball on the ground, bunt the ball. I think that he could probably then be playing center field, but you got to get that average above the 270, 280 to play in center field here in the big leagues on an everyday basis.
Boy, great play by Jose Reyes to get Braun, too.
The other one is Brantley. I think Brantley is going to be a great, excellent catcher. I've seen him before.
Ramirez punches one into right field.
And he's going to be a good hitter, and he's going to show some powers in the future. Got a good arm, accurate. The thing I like about him behind the plate is he stays real low when he calls the pitchers. He gives a real low target to the pitchers. And I think he's done a hell of a job calling, the game.
And every time he swings the bat, he looks better and better. I mean, just, the hits that he's had against lefties in the last few ball games.
And he's only 21, 22 years old, so he's going to get a lot stronger. I saw Turner before, too. I think Turner is a guy that has good stuff, a good breaking ball, good changeup, great pressing on the mound. He has his cool. He doesn't get upset. And I think he's going to learn naturally how to pitch in the big leagues. And it's going to be a good one because he got 3 good pitches that he can throw for strikes.
LeBlanc right now facing Corey Hart. Joe, tonight is our email and Twitter Tuesday. Are you on Twitter? Have you been able to teach Cookie about Twitter?
In Twitter, I'm in kindergarten.
I had already asked them about that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't really do too much Twitter.
All right. Well, you and Jeff Conine then, so far.
There you are.
There you go. You're in good company.
That's right.
Hart to center field. Hernandez is in. All right, guys, have a good show tonight.
You too, guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care.
And in the meantime, Rich, before we get to the poll question, Wade LeBlanc settled down, and one more out, he'll give the ball club 6 nice innings.
With a 4-3 lead, he's got Jonathan Lucroy, ARAMIS Ramirez at first base. We also had an earlier question wondering if Corey Hart was the biggest player ever to wear the number 1 in Major League Baseball. The stats database only covers current players wearing number 1, and among current Major League players wearing number 1, yes, he is the biggest. Tallest, biggest. 0-1. 6'6", 245. Roof question, Jim. I understand no one has hit a ball off of the roof yet. In case someone does, what's the ruling? Is the ball in play? Is it an out or what? Inquiring minds want to know. If it's in fair territory, it's a live ball. If it's in foul territory, dead ball.
So fair territory, if it hits the roof and you can make a play, a circus catch, so to speak.
Good luck.
Good luck. But we've seen some mammoth pop flies and fly balls, and we haven't seen anything hit the roof yet.
Three and 1 to Jonathan Lucroy. He fouls it back. Lucroy had that great start and then broke a finger. Missed a couple of months. That one's not coming close to the roof. Solano is under it, and he makes the catch. And 6 very nice innings after a wobbly start from Wade LeBlanc. Giancarlo Stanton, you expect that. He's busted out of his slump. Gorkys Hernandez, now that's a surprise. First of his career. With more on that, let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich, thank you. Yeah, surprise for most of us, but not Mike up here is concerned with safety because you're always looking for home run balls, make sure nobody gets hit. And tell us what happened on the homer, Mike, and you got the ball.
Well, I just looked up, wasn't really paying attention. I saw the ball coming. I ran and grabbed it.
Now, actually, the wall's in your way, so you notice the crowd because you really can't see the bat.
I heard the crowd yelling, and I looked up to my left, and I see a ball coming, and I was like, hey, let me grab it.
So you got it off the wall?
Grabbed it off the wall.
Now, here's the bad news. It's the first home run you've ever caught, right?
Yes, it is.
But this isn't the ball, this one here, huh? What happened?
I gave it back to the player. It was his first home run. I thought it was almost there.
That's very nice of you. And you did get another ball with the official ball.
Yes, it is.
All right, so it's already back in the hands of the Marlins. That's nice of you to do. And does it get busy out here for you? Do you have to watch out for?
Yes, it does get busy. As a matter of fact, it's getting busy now.
Well, thanks. Is this your first time on TV? You were great.
Yes, it is.
If you come to the Clevelander, you'll be in good hands because Mike is looking for your safety. Okay?
Yes, I am.
Thanks, buddy.
Not a problem.
All right, Rich.
Good stuff, and it sounds like a really good guy out there.
You know what? Mike's got a great smile. And a great thing to do. He gave the ball back, no problem.
He's got a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Here's Lee, who has walked and popped out.
And Giancarlo's great swing coming around. Saw the home run. Another base hit into center field.
All right, now let's follow the ball, the bouncing one. Allison Williams, what have you?
Well, when I was down here, a very nice security gentleman as well came down. His name was Howard, and he delivered the ball into the Marlins dugout there, where there's a gentleman that can somewhat verify it. They call it a player collectible, and basically what it says is that ball is the supposed home run ball, because once it leaves the park, they cannot officially verify any of those. But they took it and gave it to one of the trainers. He took it into the clubhouse, and I would imagine it is sitting in the locker of Gorkys Hernandez right now.
Probably not. Usually what they do is they grab a ball and mark it up and write goofy stuff on it.
Spell his name wrong.
Spell his name wrong,
yeah.
And say, here, kid, here's your home run ball. And they put the nice one in a safe spot. Pop to center. And Gomez is over, and he makes the catch. Your point, though, is a good one. Giancarlo Stanton, as you see Ryan Webb in the bullpen, following up his home run with a line drive to center. Significant that both the balls that he hit, the home run and the single, center field shots.
I think it's safe to say you can breathe easier. Big G is back.
So are the Nationals, 8-1.
Wow, they just keep rolling.
On top of the Cubs right now. And that's only in the top of the fifth in D.C. That was an Edwin Jackson start for the Nationals. Ian Desmond is homered. Jesus Flores is homered. Adam LaRoche has homered. Tyler Moore has homered.
We got to throw LaRoche in that MVP. He's got to be top 5.
Yeah, I would make him
maybe 4.
He would be the Nationals MVP, that's for sure. We talked about that when they were here. A strike to Ruggiano. Things are getting really interesting in the American League East. The Rays are beating the Yankees 3-2. The Orioles are beating the Blue Jays 4-0. Both those games midway through.
So a Yankees loss, an Orioles win, and a Rays win. That'll tie Baltimore and New York and put Tampa Bay a game and a half out.
Ruggiano bangs that one into left field, a base hit. Stanton stops at second. Ruggiano, second hit of the series, first of the night. Now we get to our poll question. Which Miami Hurricane became the greatest major league player? M1 for Charles Johnson, M2 for Alex Fernandez, M3 Ryan Braun, M4 for the guy we just saw in Arizona, Pat the Bat.
We couldn't quite get Dave Berg on that list. He would understand, and doing a great job managing in the minor leagues with the Marlins. And speaking of minor league baseball, something we don't have to deal with anymore, Rich. Up in Jupiter, remember we told you the Hammerheads begin their 2 out of 3 series against St. Lucie in the Florida State League. It's a 1-1 tie, but they're in the 6th inning in a rain delay.
Christian Yelich, I understand, homered in that ball game. Swing and a miss.
Jose Fernandez is pitching, and pitching well.
Brantley with a smile for the.
I think Yelich singled, but drove in a run.
I'm sorry.
Singled in a run, yeah.
I embellished the hit.
You embellished Yelich.
Yes. 0-2 to rookie catcher Rob Brantley, playing in just his 13th big league game.
We may have an opportunity to do that in a year or two.
Yeah, both the names that you just mentioned, if you're looking at, way ahead to 2014, possibly the tail end of 2013.
Well, with Yelich hitting .330, with Jose Fernandez going 14-1 in 2 stops, you know those two will start in Double-A next year. And from that point on, you never know.
Rarely do you see a player make the jump from Single-A to starter in the big leagues.
I think one of the memorable cases would be Doc Gooden. Way back when he was 17, 18 years old, played in A-ball, had an incredible year. And the next year was pitching for the Mets.
Pirates are winning tonight, 1-0 over Houston. Ron Renicky has made an appearance on the show, and he's going to go to the bullpen. Donnie Murphy is the hitter. Cameron Lowe is coming out of the Brewers' pen. There are 2 outs, and Cameron Lowe.
Well, I think Ron Renicky made this move because Donnie Murphy's had a couple of base hits, has had good swings against Sean Martin. So Renicky wanted to go with a fresher arm. I had to get to the Doc Gooden. When Doc Gooden was 18 years old, he was in Lynchburg of the Carolina League A-ball. He was 19-4 with a .250 ERA. He threw 191 innings. Guess they weren't being real careful with the 18-year-old, and had 300 strikeouts.
Good Lord.
And the next year won 17 games with the Mets.
So here's Murphy. Lowe, 6'8" right-hander. And he misses away. 1-0. Cameron Lowe pitched in Japan in 2009. Was in the Rangers organization for a long time. Little tapper, And Ramirez is going to wait for the ball and wait for Stanton and step on the bag. Inning over. Miami leaves a couple. Onward, upward to the 7th, 4-3. College Saturday pregame show. And then number 17, Nebraska takes on UCLA, an early season test, though the health of Rex Burkhead is in question for that one. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
As Ryan Webb gets loose, a couple of final notes on the nice 6 innings from Wade LeBlanc. After the Aoki home run, LeBlanc retired 13 of the last 14 that he faced. And remember, the first 2 innings, there's some runs scored. He threw 43 pitches. The last 4 innings that he threw 49 pitches. So a good effort, very solidly done by Wade LeBlanc, and he turns it over to Ryan Webb right now.
Carlos Gomez is the first one to face Webb. Gomez, Jeff Bianchi, and the pitcher spot. Webb's first pitch is bounced to first. Carlos Lee over to the bag in time. Fake Marlins fan has had some amusing tweets tonight. And wants to know, Tommy, any chance you could regrow the unbelievably awesome mustache you had with the Phillies?
You know what? Sometimes when I head out west, I don't take the razor with me, but the problem now is that awesome mustache is very gray. But then I usually just go to Keith Hernandez, who has a free supply of Just for Men, and touch it up, and everything's in shape.
And a good mustache.
Yeah.
Webb misses in. Marlins pen. Dunn and Zambrano. NWF_Marlin is often on the Twitter feed. Notice that Joey Cora at times conveys signals to the catcher. Do a majority of teams use the bench coach or manager for signals? The signals that come from the bench to a catcher 99% of the time are not calling pitches. They are relaying throw to first, pitch out, step off, it usually has to do with the running game.
Yeah, and most of the time it's the bench coach, but every once in a while, just to decoy a little bit, the bench coach might be doing things, but those aren't the signs. They're maybe coming from somebody else.
Check swing and a foul tip. Second time we've seen that happen tonight. Brantley has held both of them. And Bianchi is out.
Boy, some good pitches. A couple of nice outs recorded so far by Ryan Webb. Nice slider there to get Bianchi.
Nyjer Morgan has been spotted, and he's at home plate.
His playing time has diminished somewhat.
Morgan's name pops up whenever there's a 10-run reel off of Webb's glove, and Morgan is across first with a base hit, and he's a threat to run. He has great speed. Anytime we have a 10-run reel, the Gabby Sanchez clothesline on Nyjer Morgan is requested. We have located it, and I believe the next 10-run reel will include it.
So with the left-handed bat of Aoki coming up, Ozzy's going to go to his bullpen.
That means we're going to our bullpen. We'll take a timeout. 4-3, Miami on top in the 7th. Milwaukee trying to keep their postseason hopes alive. The Marlins trying to dash them here. They beat them yesterday in the first game of the series and lead them by a run here in the 7th. Mike Dunn comes on to face Akinori Aoki, or excuse me, Norichika Aoki. And you've got Nyjer Morgan at first base, and he is a base stealer. So the dynamic here, Brewers down a run, with Morgan at first and Aoki at the plate.
Morgan with 11 steals. He's been caught 5 times. He has, over the last few years, been a base stealer, but he's also been a guy who hasn't had the best of percentages.
Dunn takes a look and goes over. Dunn does not have the LeBlanc Burley type move. There's Morgan's numbers this year. Aoki, the 2-run homer in the 2nd off of Wade LeBlanc. LeBlanc ended up going 6 innings after giving up 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Smacks that one to left center field. Hernandez going after it, and he won't get it. Off the wall it goes. Morgan's going to score easily, and Aoki does it again.
Sometimes you concern yourself too much with that base runner, you make a bad pitch. Fastball out over the plate. Aoki has shown he can hit a fastball, and he's an aggressive hitter. There it is, belt high out over the plate, and slices it well. It's it away from Gorkys Hernandez. He can't chase it down. And just like that, a tie game.
And Ozzie Guillen, who was mixing and matching with righties and lefties, now with Weeks coming up, Zambrano comes in. Aoki with a 2-run homer and an RBI double. Saturday spectacular against the Reds. All fans get a Jose Reyes poster, and you've got post-game fireworks and a live concert from the West Plaza, 1877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com. It's Saturday, September 15th. There's Zambrano, and he'll face Ricky Weeks with Aoki out at second base. Marlins lead and the opportunity for a win for Wade LeBlanc, both gone here in the top of the 7th. Weeks singled and scored back in the first. We've had a few emails and tweets about Carlos Zambrano. Topic A would be, what went wrong this year for Carlos Zambrano? And topic B would be, where do you think he'll pitch next year?
Boy, that's a couple of good questions. You know, he got off to a good start. I think he just had a little spell where he didn't pitch well. And as a starting pitcher, I think in other situations he may have stayed in the rotation. But Ozzie wanted to make some changes, put Zambrano in the bullpen. By the way, against Ricky Weeks, Weeks has 12 career hits against Zambrano. 51 ABs, 12 for 51. So they've seen a lot of each other. And where he'll be next year, good question. I think he really likes it here. I think he likes pitching for Ozzie. But I think if he gets an opportunity and there are other teams that are interested, he may find himself somewhere else.
Anywhere he goes, he's going to have to I think, throw with a little better command and control to be in a starting rotation. In the hole, Reyes, quick release, Weeks beats it. And the Brewers have runners at the corners.
And that's where he got himself in trouble, just lack of command.
Well, as you pointed out, Weeks with a lot of career at-bats against Zambrano. Now you've got Ryan Braun, and two guys who certainly have seen a lot of each other in the National League Central, when Zambrano, a lifelong Cub before this year, was battling Braun.
Yeah, Braun 12 career hits, 12 for 45 with a home run.
Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight player. Braun, a native of California, of course, came east to play at the University of Miami. Little tapper, that's trouble. And Braun gets a 50-foot hit that knocks in the go-ahead run. So Weeks an infield single, Braun an infield single.
There is absolutely nothing you can do about this. It's a pretty good pitch by Zambrano. Murphy doesn't have a play. It's one of the things that Braun adds to his game. I mean, he does everything so well. He has good speed going up the line. Very good base runner. And there was no play at all for Braun. That's RBI number 97. Make that 98. So he's closing in on another 100 RBI season.
Aramis Ramirez now, 4 consecutive hits. Remember, the first of those 4 came with 2 outs, and it was Morgan's chopper back up the middle that just glanced off the glove of Ryan Webb.
If it probably doesn't, Reyes makes the play, but you can't help that. It's just a reaction.
So a 5-4 Milwaukee lead. Aramis Ramirez, home run wise, sitting at 21. But he's done a lot of his damage with doubles this year. 43 of them. That one up and under the hands.
And of course, Ramirez not with as many bats against Zambrano because they were teammates for such a long time.
Swing and a miss. The 43 doubles leads the National League. Paul Goldschmidt, Martin Prado with 38 apiece. It's a lot of doubles for Prado.
He's been getting a little play at second base for the Braves.
Braves losing right now at home to Colorado 2-0. That will be strike 3 called. Zambrano finishes the inning. But Milwaukee pieces together 4 2-out hits and has a 5-4 lead. Florida.com. Get to the Marlins page. Click on Game Connect. Ask the broadcast. There you go. Or you can tweet us a note. Lil Jose and Lil G. Little Cuban coffee to keep you going through the night. Nice work. Brian Braun with a little dribbler up the third baseline has given Milwaukee the lead. 5-4. And a guy that used to make a lot of money closing games, Francisco Rodriguez, arrives here in the bottom of the 7th. Brian Peterson comes off the bench and will pinch hit with Gorkys Hernandez and Donovan Solano to follow.
I think he still makes a lot of money. He just doesn't close games anymore. Leaves that up to John Axford. But good fastballs and splitters from K-Rod. This is another interesting scenario. You and I have talked about it. Here we are in the month of September. Been some pitchers called up. But right now, the Marlins still with just 4 men on the bench. Got Greg Dobbs, the other left-handed bat, and John Buck and Austin Kearns.
Marlins, in fact, did call up another pitcher today. A.J. Ramos from AA Jacksonville. Ramos had a very good year. Look at his numbers. Ramos 3-3 with a 1.44 earned run average. 21 saves for Ramos in 55 games. Juan Carlos Oviedo put on the 60-day disabled list, which clears a spot on the 40-man roster for Ramos. Hernandez takes up and in. Ramos has been a closer all the way up to the AA level, and a successful one in the Marlins chain. Heath Bell and Chad Godin. Ramos is out of Lubbock, Texas. And of course, Lubbock, Texas means he went to Texas Tech. Was in Jupiter last year, had 25 saves and a 1.78 ERA. So it's nice to see a guy that's had success in the organization get rewarded for it.
I totally agree. I think that's nice. He did well. Did so last year. And here he is this year, talking things over with Chris Hatcher.
Gorkys Hernandez with a big hit back in the 5th. It was a 2-run homer. It gave Miami a lead, and it was his first career big league homer. Here's the pitch by pitch.
Here's how it all came down. Big breaking ball, curveball, cutter. Slider misses outside. Good off-speed pitch. And the curveball again, but this time Gorkys Hernandez was on it. He'll remember that moment his whole life. His first career home run.
Wait, K-Rod looks like he still has it. He gets Peterson and Hernandez. And here comes Donovan Solano. Darren tweets in the routine before he pitches for Carlos Zambrano, where he kneels down behind the mound. Should be called a Zebo. He was Zeboing.
I like that.
It's creative. Oh, 1 pitch to Solano. He still has good bite on that slider. Remember when he lit the world on fire in the 2002 postseason with the Angels?
19, 20 years old.
Solano stays alive. The races we've been following in the American League East. An update, the Rays a 5-2 lead over the Yankees, bottom 6. That's good news for Baltimore as well. Baltimore 7, Toronto nothing in the 8th. Now it's 8-0. Orioles just added a run. Solano fouls it out of play. Pittsburgh 2-0 over Houston. Pirates are trying to stop from slipping out of the wild card race. They've lost 4 in a row. But a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd at home against the Astros tonight. Braves are losing 2-0 to Colorado. Solano snaps his bat. The Yankee throws him out at first. And K-Rod goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 7th. This is game 2 of what is a 4-game series. Tomorrow. Thank you. Gonna get those spark plugs checked. Chevron brings you tomorrow's starters. Willie Peralta, his first major league start. He's pitched in the big leagues, but this is his first major league start. And Nathan Eovaldi for the Marlins.
That car took a little while. Gas prices went up over the Labor Day weekend. So I think had the Marlins come back and maybe tied the game, gone ahead, we would have seen Heath Bell in the 8th inning. But with the score remaining 4-3, Chad Godin comes on. I think he has demonstrated his value to a bullpen and the things that he can do. If you start projecting and thinking about next year.
Well, players in this last month of September, especially for teams that are not in contention, are not only playing for spots on their team next year, but playing for spots on other teams. Guys that will be eligible for free agency. There are scouts from many different major league teams, American League and National League, here tonight, and they're not scouting the Brewers or the Marlins as first-round playoff opponents. They're looking at guys. They want to see guys who are potential free agents, not necessarily the big-name guys, but middle-range guys or a guy like a Chad Godin. 0-2 pitch. Corey Hart takes away. Teams that have identified needs towards next year oftentimes will send scouts out targeting a few players, even players that are under contract that might match up as a trade partner. Hart takes a good fastball from Godin for a strike. Toyota trend. Since the 8th, the Marlins have not won a game when scoring 5 runs or less. And in this span, they are 10-15.
I like the point you made about being a trade partner with another club. Sometimes you want to move a player, you want to make a deal, but it just doesn't work with that particular club. But then all of a sudden, that club could say, you know, we're interested in so-and-so. We saw him throw last year. He threw the ball well. And then all of a sudden you perk up and you think, hey, maybe a deal can be made.
Jonathan Lucroy perks up with that base hit to right. And here comes Carlos Gomez. We showed you the National League wild card standings coming in. Atlanta and St. Louis atop. That pitch comes in and hits Gomez in the hand. That's going to put runners at first and second. Gomez, as he squared, the question is, did he pull back? And yes, he did. You look at that replay, he did pull back.
When you square a little bit to drop down a bunt, you become very vulnerable, and it's really tough to get out of the way of a pitch sailing in that area.
That hit him in the, I guess it hit him in the hand as he looked at his left hand. It almost looked like it glanced off his chest as well. But he did pull back.
He gave us a little Cody Ross.
Cody Ross, infamous for starting his scream before the ball made contact. Here's Bianchi now. Big breaking ball is fouled back. So Atlanta has a 3.5 game lead over the Dodgers, who are in 3rd place in the wild card. St. Louis 3 behind Atlanta, but just a half in front of the Dodgers. So the Cardinals certainly are a team worth watching, and they're shutting out the Mets right now, 3-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Daniel Descalso with an RBI hit, along with Skip Schumacher.
Is he playing shortstop? I know they were thinking about putting Descalso at shortstop with Furcal out.
Yep, Schumacher's at second. 0-2.
And one of the other stories surrounding the Cardinals is, will Chris Carpenter make it back?
Saw today that he was making a simulated start.
That would be a nice boost for them.
A sim game. Did you work a sim game after your knee surgery?
Went up to Roger Dean Stadium, set up my scorebook.
Made sure the cage was there.
Yeah.
Godin misses, and it counts 2-2.
See, but a sim game, you can leave after 5 innings.
That's right. Get some treatment. LUCROY at second, Gomez at first. 2-2. And Bianchi lines it into the seats. That's why that Pirate game is important. Pittsburgh 3.5 back behind St. Louis in the wild card race, and they're winning tonight 3-0 in the 4th.
Yeah, they're trying to get another good start from Wandy Rodriguez. Remember, they acquired a little left-hander. He pitched well his last time out. Trying to get another good start out of him.
Dodgers tonight have the Padres at Dodger Stadium. 2-2.
Travis Ishikawa in the on-deck circle.
To left, a towering drive. Ruggiano back at the wall, and it's gone. Into the Clevelander, a 3-run shot. Jeff Bianchi.
Wow, his third home run. But you get to a point where you don't want to be hurt by, no disrespect, but to the number 8 hitter, Jeff Bianchi. But this one really hurts. Fastball. And he got enough of it. Wow. So much of that was the count. Well, he fell into a situation where Bianchi knew he was going to get a fastball.
He got it, and then he jumped on it. Here's Ishikawa. One ball, one strike on Ishikawa. That one will stay in the yard. Ruggiano is there, and he makes the catch. Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is coming up. Emails and tweets still coming in. Lee wants to know if Lil Jose's Cuban coffee is any good.
Well,
Kevin,
I would expect so, yes.
Kevin wanted to know if we found out why the Marlins don't have their logo on the back of the mound like some teams do.
I think
we asked.
I think first things first. First things, get the grass and everything in shape. And I think that's first and foremost, but I wouldn't rule it out down the road.
Speaking of the grass, by all accounts, just from looking at it and from talking to players, it's in much better shape right now than it was early in the season. Early in the season, with all of the rain and events and such, the roof was closed a lot, and thus the grass didn't get a lot of sunlight. As the season has gone on, the Marlins able to open the roof on a daily basis, especially with the team on the road. And so the grass much improved. Liner to left center. Gorkys Hernandez is there, and he makes the catch. Inside the Marlins after the game, you can meet the grounds crew. 8-4, Milwaukee. Zimmerman. The action of the 2012 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement begins October 5th with the wild card games on TBS. Let's check in with Allison Williams. Hey, Dub.
Rich, we've been checking in on Twitter, seeing who people say are their favorite follows. And I have to say, if Jeff Conine would get on Twitter, I think he would be a lot of people's favorite to follow. Michelle says that if Niner had a Twitter, he would be at the top of my fave follows list. Hashtag Marlins, hashtag Jeff Conine. So Niner was upset he was left out of the fave follows list. That is why, because you don't have Twitter, Jeff. But if you get on there, I think people will definitely be following you and you would be a favorite. James Bondman, who tweets us a lot here on FS Marlins, said that some of his favorites are at Nick Castillo, GobbleX239, who we hear from a lot as well, as is H2O Dad, Kristen Yelich, who was a favorite of Brian Peterson's as well, CD Nicola, who was a beat writer at one time for the Marlins, also at Marlins Chick 87, and Hipster CC, I think I'm saying that right, and then also at Baseball Fan 87. Some of his fave follows for James Bondman on Twitter. But I'm telling you guys, if Niner would just get with the program here and get on Twitter, I think he would be a favorite.
Ain't gonna happen, Allie. I don't think.
No chance. It's worth a try. Here's some favorites too from Chris Hatcher. And actually, that one's really funny. At Hungover Baby, you probably should be 18 or over, maybe even 21 or over to follow it. But at Hungover Baby was very funny. I found that the guys were all about the entertainment when I asked them their favorites on Twitter. So that was his. And the bullpen guy is always looking for the entertainment. No surprise, right?
Yes. At Jim Henderson is now pitching.
Yeah, he is. I'm just thinking of something with Allison going through a lot of lists of fave follows. You got to come up and maybe come up with a Crack Staff Twitter handle, at Crack Staff.
We'll leave that to the Crack Staff.
Yeah.
If the Crack Staff wants it,
they can have it.
Crack Staff has it. There's Jim Henderson.
And I think they would be up for the task.
Kaminoff, who has been tweeting tonight, wants to make sure that everybody knows the best follow that he has is JCR Marlins Beat, Juan Rodriguez. One of ours as well. Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, Carlos Lee. Miami trying to climb back into this one. The Marlins had a 4-3 lead, and there is A.J. Ramos. Looks like he's getting ready to make his big league debut. Anderson misses low. It's 2-2 to Reyes. Reyes is 0 for 3. He's lined out and bounced to first twice. Reyes' average is dipped to 280. Roller into right.
That's good battle by Reyes. He took a strike the first pitch. He wasn't real crazy about the call. And then he had a dance out of the way of a slider. He battled and finally got himself a pitch to get to that hole between first and second. So that's a good at bat.
One of the bright spots that has come out of tonight's ball game for Miami is that this man seems to be back. He hit a deep fly ball out in the second. He hit it out in the fourth, a 436-foot shot to straightaway center. Mean rip and a miss, and then a line drive single to center in his next at bat. So he's 2 for 3. Henderson is the 4th Brewer pitcher to work, and Stanton fouls it back. Miami has used 5 pitchers. And Baltimore must smell Yankee blood right now, because the Rays are up 5-2, and Baltimore just keeps scoring runs. 12-0 over Toronto.
Orioles have 16 hits in that game.
That's got to make our good friend Jim Presley quite happy.
Yeah, I'll tell you a guy who's been hot lately, and he has 3 hits with a home run tonight and 4 RBIs is Mark Reynolds. Been playing first base.
Stanton swings and misses and strikes out.
Miami kid Robin Andino been a part of the Orioles hitless tonight, but playing at second base.
Yeah, we've seen Andino a lot. Also, I mean, speaking of South Florida, Manny Machado is in that ball game. He's at third base. He's got 2 hits.
So the bottom 2 hitters, it's kind of fun for my Miami fans, people here in South Florida. Machado hitting 8th and Andino hitting 9th.
Henderson at 96 miles an hour fires a strike.
Has shown a pretty good fastball.
Foul tip. Lee just got a piece of that. Or it just got a piece of him. Henderson, out of one of the great towns in North America, especially late in the summer, Calgary, Alberta. If you've ever been in Calgary for the Calgary Stampede, now that is a party. I was there once.
I know Ryan Dempster has been.
I was there once. And that was something. That used to be a stop in the Pacific Coast League. And a great place to hit. Calgary Cannons. Oh-2. Lee swings and misses.
Maybe
strikes out.
Maybe not such a great stop in January. But,
no. I'll tell you, one of the, and I think this was true of all the AAA ballparks that I worked in that were in Canada. They all had beer taps in the press box. And so whether it was Molson's or Labatt's or whatever, that was a tradition. Nat Bailey Stadium in Vancouver.
Now, were those taps open during the game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course. Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary.
And, of course, the Labatt's and Molson's, a little higher alcoholic content. A little stronger.
That good Canadian beer, you're right. Ruggiano swings and misses. Moosehead, Kokanee. Of course, when you're a minor league broadcaster, you're a one-man show, so you don't really have time to go get yourself one.
It's tough to run to the tap.
That was usually a post-game reward. Though actually, I was fortunate enough to work in a two-man booth in AAA.
Is that when you were with Ken Korak?
Absolutely, the voice of the Oakland Athletics, the Las Vegas Stars. They kind of had a big league type broadcast in form, not necessarily in content, with two guys. Reyes is running, and the pitch taken, the throw down to second. He's in there with a stolen base. Reyes steals the bag, his 34th.
Okay, all of a sudden, Jose Reyes with 5 stolen bases now in his last 4 games. A little chancy there with the score 8-4, but just got in under the tag.
Hey.
Reyes at second. And Ruggiano sitting on a 1-1 pitch. Now it's 1-2. To right center, Gomez back and there and makes the catch. Inning over, Reyes left at second. To the ninth, 8-4, Beer Makers. Email and Twitter Tuesday. We thank all of those that have been with us tonight. And you're about to see A.J. Ramos make his Major League debut.
And I would imagine maybe some of his family members just call him Alejandro. But A.J. Ramos, you mentioned, out of Lubbock, Texas, put together some really nice numbers this year. 25 years old, he'll be 26 later this month. 21 saves in Jacksonville this year.
You gotta like a guy like Ramos too, because he doesn't fit the mold of pitchers that, you know, teams sometimes profile and look for, 6'5", downward plane and all that. He's 5'10", 212. That's what he's listed as.
Watching him throw, looks like a nice fastball slider. Things are racing through his mind, I'm sure, right now. And the whole key for anybody making their debut, just try to slow it down a little bit.
21st round pick. A.J. Ramos.
And every year, I mean, you mentioned 25 saves last year in Jupiter. 28 saves the year before in Greensboro.
With low ERAs. Here's Weeks. So Ramos gets to face Ricky Weeks, and then Ryan Braun, and then Aramis Ramirez.
So
I know it's a 4-run ball game, but it's got to be fun for a guy making his Major League debut to face guys that he's watched, I'm sure, on television the last 4 or 5 years.
So as you like to point out, no soft landing for A.J. Ramos.
That's okay. I think A.J. can handle it from the looks of his numbers. Harry Am Official has been tweeting us all night. Wants to know who's your MVP of the Marlins in 2012. His choices would be Reyes.
Well, you have Reyes and Stanton. Those are the two guys.
Those are his two suggestions. I think you got to go with Giancarlo Stanton.
You do, but I might go off the wall and go Jose Reyes, just because he's only missed a couple of games. He's been solid. He's been energetic. He's added a lot to this ball club when it's really been tough to do.
I don't think that's off the wall.
All right.
If you had to pick a pitcher, who's your most valuable pitcher?
Steve Cishek.
Very nice. Most valuable broadcaster.
Lil Jose.
There you go. Very good choice. Big shoes to fill next year. Ramos strikes him out. A.J. Ramos makes his major league debut, and the first guy he faces, he gets on the inside corner. There's one out.
With
very nice.
95-mile-an-hour heater right there. Freezes Ricky Weeks. Yeah.
So now it's Ryan Braun. Another 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That one up. It's 1-0. Nationals are clobbering the Cubs 9-4 in the 7th in D.C. Jose Veras, former Marlin. At the knees.
I'll tell you one thing I do like about A.J. Ramos. He gets it and throws it.
We talked about that earlier this season, how you don't often see relievers work at a starter's pace. Breaking ball. How about this? A.J. Ramos strikes out Weeks, strikes out Braun, and now here is Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, they're on their feet in Lubbock, Texas right now.
And they should be.
Good job. So we saw the fastball to Weeks, the slider to Braun. Good compact delivery.
Well, the year that he had for the Suns up in Jacksonville was just incredible. 21 saves, a 1.44 ERA. And he runs that fastball away, and Ramirez went after it. It's 0-1. And while this is a promotion and a chance to spend a month in the big leagues, it's also, as we've talked about, an audition and a great opportunity.
A little slower breaking ball. How about 89 strikeouts in 68 2/3 innings?
He's pumped up. You can see the adrenaline running through him.
I like that. I like that.
He's 1-2 now on Aramis Ramirez. How about that? Major League debut.
That's why you hang around for 9 innings.
And he strikes out the side. Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, Aramis Ramirez, no problem, as A.J. Ramos makes his big league debut. Technology Network, AT&T Rethink Possible, and by Checkers. Feast on. Out at the Cleveland Earth, they're just getting started. A little something to eat, beverages. 8-4, Milwaukee on top. Marlins down to their final 3 outs. A.J. Ramos, the pride of Lubbock, Texas. Major League debut, he strikes out 3 Milwaukee Brewers. Not just any 3, but 3 of the best. Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, Aramis, Ramirez.
He had the adrenaline going. He was pumped up, and that was great to see.
Former Marlin, Jose Veras, takes over for Jim Henderson. Ron Renicky coaxing an inning out of Henderson, an inning out of Francisco Rodriguez.
Got a tweet from Alex the Terp. Happy to see the debut of A.J. Ramos because he'd seen him quite a bit last year in Jupiter.
Brantley swings and misses. Steve LeBeau is our statistician and baseball historian tonight. And he points out that the pitchers of record, Cameron Lowe and Mike Dunn, both threw only 2 pitches each in this game.
So one could get the win and one the loss, having just thrown 2 pitches. Amazing.
Brantley, Murphy. Wonder if Ramos can hit. I mean, his spot's due up third. Brantley fouls one out of play. See, the storybook ending would be Ramos makes his Major League debut, strikes out the side with those 3 hitters, and Miami scores 5 runs and he gets the win.
Hey, that's why you hang around. You never know.
That would be the storybook. Reality right now has Miami down 4. Barris missing outside. Sean Markham started, 4 runs in Markham's column. Wade LeBlanc for the Fish. He was in line for the win when the trio of Webb, Dunn, and Zambrano coughed up those runs in the 7th.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, Ozzie made the moves. He matched up pitchers. He brought in Dunn to face Aoki, the left-handed hitter, and Aoki hit that RBI double. Crushed it to left center.
3-2 all the way to the screen. And Brantley's on his way to first. So there's a start for Miami. They get their leadoff runner aboard. Don't know how much patience Ron Renicky will have for Jose Veras if he's not throwing strikes.
He'll get Axford ready. He's got him loosening up right now.
What happened to Axford's hair?
Well, it went the way of his ERA. He had a couple of bad outings, and I think the hair went when the ERA went up.
The hair went down.
The hair went down.
Murphy, a couple of hits. Dobbs is on deck. Veras misses in. 1-0. Well, the back end of the bullpen for the Brewers has not been the best end, so to speak. Brewers have blown 26 saves. Their bullpen ERA 4.70. You can see the high ERAs out of the pen in the National League. Been a long year for Houston in their final year of the National League. It's a bit unfortunate, to say the least, for the Astros in the year they do get shuffled off into the American League and now get to face Texas a lot, that they're undermanned against a very good Rangers ball club, and you would think that
they'll be facing Texas and the Angels a lot.
Well, Oakland,
the way Oakland's been playing. Seattle's been a hot club the last couple of months.
They have been one of the better teams in the American League in the second half. That Baltimore game is a final 12-0.
And by the way, Machado got a hit his last at bat, so he had 3 hits in that game, 3 for 5.
Very nice. Here's the 2-2. Murphy lines it down the left field line, foul. Donnie looking for his 3rd hit.
And by the way, amongst all that hitting, the 18 hits, Zach Britton, the left-hander for the Orioles, went 7 shutout innings.
Inside the Marlins premieres tonight, the latest edition. You'll see Frank Fort and jobs in baseball, and not jobs on the 25-man roster. It's right here on Fox Sports Florida.
It's not about broadcasting jobs, is it?
No. Nor will Bob the Shark be featured. 2-2. Count still 2-2. The Rays' lead of 5-2 is in the top of the 9th in St. Pete. And so, Tommy, as you pointed out, this could be quite the night for the Rays and the Orioles. Baltimore could pull even with New York atop the East in the American League. And the Rays, were they to win that ball game, would be just a game and a half back of both New York and Baltimore.
Very exciting right now in that American League East.
Meanwhile, Boston, who had lost 7 in a row coming into play tonight, is getting ready to play in Seattle. Do you think that Bobby Valentine is managing there next year?
Well, I keep thinking he might, but I don't know. I don't know how they can have him back. But they, I think, owe him 2 more years. I think he signed a 3-year contract.
Murphy strikes out, and here comes Dobbs. The Braves are getting pounded 6-0 by Colorado in Atlanta. That's in the bottom of the 8th. And the Nationals continue to put distance between themselves and the Cubs. 10-4 now, bottom 7. Dobbs arrives with Miami down 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning. See, Jose Veras does not work at the same pace as A.J. Ramos. Am I right on that?
You're absolutely right. And if you were a defensive player playing behind Jose Veras, you'd be pacing.
Dobbs settles in. A strike, and it's 1-1. Tigers lost again tonight. Cleveland beat them 3-2.
Yeah, the only 2 runs the Tigers got, a Miguel Cabrera home run, number 34.
They were a game behind the White Sox, and it looks like they'll stay a game behind. The Twins lead the White Sox 11-4 halfway through that game. 1-1 is a strike to Dobbs. Infield swung a bit towards the right side against Dobbs. Two balls, two strikes. Austin Kearns waits on deck. Two coming. Backdoor breaking ball. I don't think Dobbs agreed, but he'll head to the dugout. Veras snapped it off. Let's see if he caught the corner.
Yeah, Veras more of a fastball curveball guy as opposed to a slider. There's that big curveball. I don't think it made it.
Not close.
It wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. I wonder if you could get thrown out for just saying, go back and check the video. You couldn't get thrown out for that.
It depends on how you said it. If you didn't turn around and make a big scene out of it.
Didn't turn around. Hope you check that on the video later. Something like that.
I would be even a little more subtle than that.
It's the ninth inning.
Just like check the video. See you tomorrow night.
See you at third base. See, now Dobbs might be playing third base.
Kearns up now. Brantley still at first. He walked to lead off the inning. Veras has come back to strike the next two guys out. The count now 1 ball, 1 strike. The Reds are trying to finish off the Phillies right now, 2-1 in the ninth. Aroldis Chapman has the first out. Kearns dumps it into right field. That's a base hit. Brantley on his way to third. Kearns has another pinch hit, something he's done all year long. And here comes Solano.
Boy, he has. That's his 10th pitch hit of the year, 10 for 29. So, nice approach. He just battled that ball. One of the greatest of swings, but you know what? He fought off a good fastball.
Ron Renicky has, I think, seen enough of Jose Veras. So he's going to make a pitching change. John Axford with his new haircuts coming in. of the ninth, there are 2 outs. There are 2 runners on. And here is your Warren Henry drive of the game. Gorkys Hernandez, first big league home run. And it was a 2-run shot. At the time, it was a big one. It gave Miami a lead, a short-lived lead, a 4-3 lead at that point. But with John Axford coming in.
I give you one of the reasons for Axford, who good fastball, curveball, good changeups. Why he may have gotten a shorter haircut. Axford really started off well. He saved 10 of the first 11 games, 10 of the first save opportunities 11 that he had. But since that time, 13 out of 20. So lately, he's had 7 blown saves. Right now, this is with 2 out and the tying run in the on-deck circle. This is a save opportunity.
Solano's job, get on base, keep the line moving. Axford's job, try to end it for the Brewers, and he misses outside. He throws hard, 97 miles an hour.
Solano thinking, try to get the big guys up here.
Reyes, then Stanton, then Lee. Axford out of Ontario. Taking second is Austin Kearns, no stolen base. And it counts 2-0 to Solano. Simcoe, Ontario, and then he played, Axford did, at Notre Dame. And he had Tommy John surgery while in college. He was tied with Craig Kimbrell for saves, 48 of them. A Brewers record last year. We told you about all the blown saves, most in the National League. Axford's throwing hard, but he's not near the plate right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right now, Solano can take 2 pitches.
You almost wouldn't recognize Axford because he's trimmed the beard, trimmed the mustache a little bit.
He had that real shaggy hair.
His 3-0 right down the middle at 97. Well, Gorkys Hernandez hit his first big league homer. Donovan Solano is still looking for his in this, his rookie season. (3-1). That's a strike.
Taken all the way. It's okay. What you do by doing that, you make him throw 3 straight strikes because you're going to get another fastball.
Here it comes, 3-2. And he fouls it off, 98, as Axford dials it up even further.
Now he has to throw 4 straight fastballs and strikes.
Yankees go down 5-2. The Rays win that game. As we told you, Baltimore won. So Baltimore and the Yankees tied for first in the American League East. Here the Marlins are down to their last strike. Down 4 with a pair of runners on. Another 3-2. Jammed him, and he pops it out towards Weeks, who makes the catch, and this ball game belongs to the Milwaukee Brewers. The series tied at a game apiece. Axford finishes the deal. Cameron Lowe threw 2 pitches. He gets the win. Mike Dunn threw 2 pitches. He gets the loss. How about that? 8 runs, 11 hits for the Brewers. 4 runs, 9 hits for the Fish. And the Brewers at 66 and 69, clinging to their hopes of sneaking back into the postseason race. How about the Dunkin' Donuts save of the game? I know it's not a save, but what a debut for A.J. Ramos.
Well, came in, faced 3 hitters, Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, Aramis Ramirez, and got 3 strikeouts in his major league debut.
Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, is coming up. So stick around, kids. And thanks for all the emails and tweets tonight.